I screwed up my daughter's Halloween for no reason. Why does she hate me? I'm an a-hole for making my daughter return Halloween costume. This happened in October and my daughter's still acting cold and hardly speaking to me. My daughter, who's 16, works an after school job 5 days a week. Her high school had a costume contest for Halloween. My daughter and her friends planned a group costume to enter. She went with her friends after school to buy the costume. I picked her and her friends up from the store and they showed me their costumes. My daughter spent $80 on hers. I was pissed. That's a lot of money to spend on something you're going to wear for a few hours. I feel like I can already predict what's going to go on here. Basically, because she spent $80, you're going to make her return that. Keep in mind it was spent with her money. Very irresponsible use of money. I told her as much in the car and told her it was ridiculous. I dropped her friends off and took her back to the store to return the costume and accessories. Your daughter's literally spent her money. This wasn't bought with your money, this was bought with her money. I'm already gonna say you're an asshole. Her friends found someone else to take her place in the group and they won the contest and a $100 Visa gift card to split. Oh, so you didn't even let her go and then they ended up winning? I'm sorry, your daughter was literally going out somewhere with her friends and now you've basically just made her friends ditch her. What a crap mother. My daughter came home from school on Halloween upset. She claimed she had to sit and watch while her friends had fun and missed out on everything. I pointed out to her after splitting the gift card it would be less than she spent in the costume and it was only a few hours but she didn't want to reason. But that's not the point. Why should she reason with you? At the end of the day, if she's worked hard for her money, she should be able to spend it on whatever she wants. If she wants to spend on a Halloween costume, let her. Like, yeah, she might only wear it for a few hours, but you know, she could wear it next year or the year after. To me, this just seems like control. The mother seems very bitter. Now a month later and she is still moody and mostly ignoring me. My ex-husband told me I made her miss out and she worked so much so she missed out on a lot of fun with her friend and I could have let her have this. But at the end of the day, I saved her $80. I just was trying to teach my daughter how to be responsible with money so she could have gotten a cheaper costume, especially since she only would have worn it for a few hours. But that's got nothing to do with it. It's got to do with control. Your daughter has spent her money on something she wants to and you just came in and completely ruined it. Also keep in mind she ended up not going to the event. So she's basically got ditched by her friends replacing they ended up winning. I don't blame her for being angry at you. You're the a-hole, congratulations. You just strained your relationship with your daughter for $80 that wasn't even yours. Hope it was worth it. I understand why the parent thinks that they're just doing the right thing, but they're just not. You know, they're just being a nuisance. They've just stuck their head in and completely ruined everything. I remember this one. 3 years later, kid would be 19 now. I wonder how often she comes home from college. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, look, I think that's a bit of an overreaction. Do I think you should never talk to your mum again? Of course not. However, I understand why she's annoyed, and honestly, if I was in her situation, I probably wouldn't speak to my mum. It's just the fact that, like, you know, you were going out with your friends, you were all excited, and then your mum just turned around and told you no, made you return the costume that you bought with your money, then you got replaced and they all won. Yeah, I would be pretty pissed off as well. So the kid worked hard for the money to bad herself, but original poster was just trying to teach her responsibility. But is it about being responsible? To me, it just seems like control. It just seems like you completely ruined all the fun. Your child's young, let her waste $80, you know, I'm sure she'll laugh at it in the future. It's not like, you know, she's bankrupt or broke. It was her money that she worked hard for. Why shouldn't she be able to spend it on what she wants? This is something that irritates me sometimes when I read these stories. It's like parents get too involved in their kids' lives. It's not your life, it's your kids. Climbing the ladder on top of a slippery pickup truck. Yeah, so this just isn't gonna end well, is it? You know, I just know exactly what's gonna happen. It's gonna end up with him going to the hospital. Oh. Oh god, we're getting another angle. Oh god, imagine being in a car and witnessing this. Oh, damn. Oh. Are you okay? Does he look like he's okay? We watched that for a video, you witness it in real life. You know for a fact he is not okay. Immediately bedridden. Immediately paralysed. I'm sorry, we all seen the way he fell, didn't we? Like, watch this, we're gonna watch it again from this angle. It's also just the fact the car's going by. Imagine literally witnessing that and then driving off. Oh! If he comes out with a functioning back and 2 working legs, he's a very lucky man. I, 29 female, left my boyfriend twice, hooked up with a co-worker he was insecure about, and now he doesn't trust me. My boyfriend and I have been together on and off for about 6 years and lived together. One of my co-workers has always had a thing for me, and my boyfriend would always feel insecure about it. But I always told him not to worry and that we were just friends. After reading the title, that obviously wasn't true. My boyfriend never really believed that. At one point, he found some deleted messages between me and the co-worker and became very suspicious. He was already suspicious and insecure in the relationship because I had cheated on him early on in the relationship with an ex. Okay, so you sound like the worst girlfriend of the year. Like, I'm sorry, if we could give an award out for the craps girlfriend, it would go to you. Last September, we were having some issues and working through them in couples therapy. I decided to leave the relationship, and while my boyfriend wasn't home, I left him a note saying it was over and took all of my things from the house. I suspected that he had pleased himself while I was at work that day, and that put me over the edge. I also blocked him in everything so he couldn't try and contact me to talk about it. Comparing what he done to what you done is very, very confusing. cheating. How's that gonna put you over the edge yet you're the one cheating on him with your ex? I'm very avoidant and couldn't deal with the conversation. He tried to reach me for weeks through letters, social media, etc. but I never responded. The next month I started seeing my co-worker, the one that he was suspicious about, and we were physical several times over the next few months. So it looks like his suspicions were correct. Now I'm not a psychic, I can't predict the future, but I have a weird feeling it's not gonna work with this co-worker. You're gonna try to get back with the boyfriend and hopefully he gives you a cold shoulder. Also, can we just talk about the fact that she didn't even dump him face to face? She left him a written note and then left. What type of breakup is that? Around the holidays I started missing my ex and reached out to meet up with him. I didn't really want to get back together, but I wanted him in my life. We started hanging out and he tried for the next several months to get a commitment, but I didn't want to. We kept hanging out until Valentine's Day of this year when I decided I didn't want to commit to him, and I left him again without telling him and blocked him so he couldn't try to reach out. It just feels like you're using him, doesn't it? I'm just getting the vibe that you only want him whenever you want him, and then whenever you're bored of him you just let him go. Or not even let him go, you literally write notes and then disappear. Several months later in May I was really drunk one night and missed him and wanted to see him again. In the middle of the night I started knocking on his door and begged him to let me in. He refused at first but eventually let me in when I wouldn't stop. We ended up talking after that and eventually decided to get back together. One of his conditions for getting back together was that I would rebuild trust, specifically when it comes to my co-worker, and also promising that if he ever wants to see my phone he can. So it seems like they've came to a little bit of a truce, but I don't think that truce is gonna work. She doesn't seem like a very good person and especially not trustful at all. He asked me to get a new job because he didn't trust me working with that person anymore, and I committed to doing that. It's now been 5 months since we've been back together and I still haven't found a new job. I honestly haven't really looked too hard. My BF is not too happy about the fact that I'm still working with the co-worker every day and he doesn't trust me. Fast forward to tonight, we were in a fight because I suspected he played with himself while I was at work this week. He denied it, but I still feel like he did. Yet again, it is nothing compared to what you've done. You know, what he's done is nothing. Comparing what you've done to him is like comparing a mole to a molehill. He asked to see my phone and I started getting defensive and refused to let him go for it. He eventually did and found a text between me and the co-workers from when we were broken up, talking about intimate things between us. He also saw that I was still talking to the co-worker the week I got back together with him, when I had asked the co-worker to come see my sister's new baby. He was very upset and doesn't feel like he can trust me, ... Yeah, I don't blame him, who would? You obviously have something that this man cannot get over, because I don't know any other man who would be able to put up with you. Like I said, if there was an award for the worst girlfriend of the year, I think you would be the winner. I mean, I wouldn't either, you cheated. I think we only know about her cheating once. Something tells me she's definitely cheating you a lot more times. And it's also just the fact, you know, she gets bored of the relationship, ends it, goes to see a new guy for a wee while, gets bored of him, gets back with her ex and then break his heart. It just seems constantly toxic and I don't know how he's putting up with that. You've cheated on him multiple times and have the audacity to get upset over him pleasing himself. Leave this man alone, he deserves a better partner. Pay for his therapy as well, you know, that man is totally messed up. Like I said, she quite clearly is just using him. You know, she gets bored of him, doesn't want him anymore, but then misses him. You see this a lot in these Reddit stories. Somebody in the relationship will get bored and want to end it to get with a hotter person. Then when they get with that hotter person, they get bored of that hotter person and want to get back with their ex. That's not even including her and all the cheating. You know, she's a lot worse than that. I hope this is rage bait. If not, she's insanely toxic and lacking self-awareness. Also, why is she so worked up about what he done? See, that's what I find so interesting. You know, why is she angry about him doing that when she's the one who's been cheating? Literally ending a relationship and then getting with her co-worker for a few months just to go back to him. It's not normal, is it? You know, it's a bit scary. It's serial killer behavior, ain't it? No, don't try to touch that. No, don't.
I don't have nothing, I'm so
It's not
sorry.
gonna end well. Oh my god. I couldn't show the ending in that, but I will say her finger was a bit bloody. Who in this world thinks it's a good idea to go and try to touch a squirrel? Squirrels aren't like dogs and cats, you know, squirrels are wild animals. It's like the squirrel is a wild animal or something. I feel like people kind of look at certain animals and don't really think that they're wild. Even birds in a way, you know, birds are technically wild animals. Look, I would never touch a bird. However, why would you touch a squirrel? What are them animals that are like big slugs in the beach that people like to touch? Seals. People love to go up and try to touch seals. Why would you ever try to touch a seal? Have fun with that rabies shot series. Okay, so I didn't even know squirrels had rabies. Now, I'm not like her, so I'm not going to try to touch one. Okay, so this person said squirrels have never been known to transmit rabies to humans. Having been bitten by a squirrel before, I was not doing something stupid like this for context. I know that they do not even administer rabies shots. Okay, so that's good that they don't have rabies, but yet again, like, why would you want to try to touch one? I feel like people look at squirrels and think that they're like hamsters. Like, they're not hamsters, they're literal wild animals. Stop harassing them and just let them chill by the trees. My husband and I went to Yellowstone for our honeymoon, and I remember a park ranger telling us that squirrels wind up causing the most injuries to visitors and tourists. People think that squirrels are cute and try to feed them. Then they get bitten or scratched and have to go to town to get rabies shots. The cherry on top of the whole experience is that they get fined for harassing the wildlife. This was all a super long time ago, but I doubt it's changed. I understand why people would try to feed the squirrels, because like whenever I was younger, I used to feed ducks bread. Now, I never got bitten by a duck, but I certainly got chased by a few. What could go wrong playing Candy Crush while driving?
Me moving in the truck, but
Oh, that's not on a is that an iPad?
I need to move in the truck.
That's not even on a phone. That's bad. It's bad enough people using phones, he's using an iPad.
Crash detected.
Oh my god, dude, I just fucking wrecked Israel's truck, dude.
911 assist.
Oh my god!
A 911.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Well, there's no point you getting mad. You're the one who caused it. And you filmed yourself doing it as well.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I always find it so funny how people freak out like that. It's not like you're the one who caused that, you know, you're the one who's on an iPad, not even a phone, an iPad. It blows my mind how some people value a game over their own life and others on the road. What's even funnier is the fact that he literally filmed it, so like I hope they use that against him. There's already enough bad drivers on the road. It's even worse when they're driving and using their phone, never mind an iPad. I've witnessed someone do similar. They were on their laptop with it on their lap while driving in traffic. Somehow they seem shocked when they rear-ended someone. It'll never cease to amaze me how much disregard some people have for other life on the road. Currently I'm not a driver because I'm petrified of getting in a car crash. However, growing up in Northern Ireland, there was drinking adverts, obviously to stop people drinking and driving. The adverts were traumatic, and I mean traumatic, they were bad. I don't know how they were put on TV. Obviously it was for shock value, and it works, because you know, I now will never ever drink and drive, not that I would ever do it. I feel like they should definitely start making them for phones. We really do need some good adverts to shock you out of not doing it. Girl throws lemonade at the one holding the pressure washer. Oh. Okay. Okay, well they got what they deserved. But why'd they throw the lemonade over her? I think what was going on there is basically she was power hosing their car. They had the window down, so it was their fault, and then obviously they threw the lemonade at her. Yeah, so it looks like the window is down, and obviously a wee bit of water went in. Like it's their own fault for having it down. She was far too nice. See, if it was me, I'd be taking it further. The fact that they go right back to washing the car top tier service. If I were her, I would have taken it so much further. If they would have thrown a drink at me, they'll drown. Definitely held back a lot more than she needed to. I was expecting a lot more than that. I'm really hoping that she didn't get in trouble with her job, but then like I'm trying to figure out how she would. If they're driving through a car wash like that and they've got the window down, that's their fault. What type of idiot would do that? Why wouldn't your ex-husband be in our affair baby's life? You gotta talk to him for me. Why aren't you answering me? I'm an a-hole for telling my ex-friend I don't care her son's father isn't in his life and to leave me alone. I'll try to make this short. So every Sunday my mother-in-law, she's not my mother-in-law anymore, but I still call her that. Anyway, she has a family event every Sunday. I didn't go to the last one because I was on a trip, but I took the kids to enjoy. My ex-husband David and I have been divorced for a year now. I don't give a damn about him, only want him to be in our kids' lives. So the reason we are not together is because he was having an affair with my best friend. We'll call that friend Stacey. Stacey and I were friends since we were on because our mums were friends too. You're telling me your lifelong best friend slept with your husband. This is why you have to be careful of who you're friends with, or not even that, you know, just keep an eye out for everyone. Her lifelong best friend was sleeping with her husband behind her back. You know, I trusted her, told her everything, never expected her to backstab me as well. So Stacey and David both have a son together. Having to go through something like that shows that you can't trust everyone. Stacey has apologized many times, cried and told me she has no one by her side. I didn't care because I was the one going through it. I mean, why is she coming to you and apologizing, asking for sympathy? The only person who deserves sympathy in this situation is you. She caused that so she can deal with it. So at the event, Stacey was there. So was David, but we didn't talk because there's no reason to. Stacey was sitting by herself just watching the kids play. Not one person went over to talk to her. I could feel the energy from everyone. Most of our family shamed her and David, so I get why they feel that way. So everyone's enjoying themselves and I went inside to get something to drink. What I didn't know was that Stacey followed behind me. We were in the bar part of the kitchen, very quiet and awkward, well, until she said something. She asked me why won't David be in her child's life but he's in ours. I had no idea because I'm only worried about my kids. David is a grown man. David was there, so I feel like she should have talked to him. I said quiet as I made my drink. Then again she asked but more aggressive, which caught my attention. She got smart and said I needed to talk to him since he won't talk to her. Don't know what made her think that was my issue. I told her I didn't care and to leave me alone. So you're telling me she's came to you asking you why your ex-husband isn't in her child's life? Why don't you ask him? Why is she also at this event? Like, I'm so sorry, I wouldn't want to be there. I think the mother-in-law invited her there, but quite frankly, if I were you, I wouldn't be going back. Well, what's happening to Stacey's kid is horrible. It's really not your business or problem. Not after the way she betrayed you. She shouldn't be bringing it up to you because it's not your child, it's her child. Go to David. Why isn't she going to your ex-husband who impregnated her? It's just the fact that she was your lifelong best friend, then had an affair with your husband, and now wants you to help her. Well, anyways, that is where we're gonna leave the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press the big red subscribe button. See you all tomorrow for another video.